Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Gas is on the Right. No, he's got a chance to win the race.
I think that might have been like one of the cleanest hits I've ever seen in a NASCAR fight.
Side Rick. Yeah, the back. Oh, bend to the wall hard goes Ryan Blaney.
And he finally came to a stop, and it was just dead silent.
I said this last week, and I'm going to keep reiterating it. Live with the decisions you make. Drive by the decisions you make. Don't change up your style, but also just don't be dumb.
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gas is on the Right, the Las Vegas edition. This week we'll talk about Rajah Caruth winning his first Truck Series race, John Hunter Nemechek winning in the Xfinity race, and Kyle Larson dominating in the Cup race. Let's get started.
Daniel, for your first intro,
a very conservative
wonderful.
term.
Very, very well put together. Very well done. I'm proud of you. You know,
Thanks. I was really
One
nervous
step
in the
for
seconds
Gas is on the
leading up to
Right,
doing the intro.
another step
Yeah.
for mankind. Hey, everybody, how has y'all's week been? Happy, what is it, Wednesday? It is Wednesday. Goodness, I am just on.
Wednesday.
Is that full of vodka?
It's definitely full of water.
Oh, man. So,
This
well,
was
happy
vodka. That would be
Wednesday.
so alarming.
Just chug it. Daniel with a duck hat on today. Got the zone
Hell
going
yeah.
in with the Magellan chain hang. So, guys, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I'm in a great mood. It's been a great week. Not for me, points wise, but somebody points wise. It's been a great week.
So not for me.
I was gonna say not for Daniel.
Yeah.
I'm off to a rough start this year. I don't know what happened.
So this is how I felt like third race in last year, except we didn't have the bonus
1 year
points.
ago.
So I'm on the same level as you at this point in a technicality. I'm like the middle child, like we're loved, but we're not that loved.
And I'm the oldest right now. I've forgotten.
I am the youngest here, so fitting.
Must be nice. So I remember those privileges back in the day. So, anyways,
Yeah, I remember that year and a half I was the only child.
I was never an only child. Me and Alan were never only children.
I mean, I was the only one in the
I
house,
was the
but
baby.
I am the baby. So she's technically the baby, and then you're over here, the oldest. I got to get my directions
We're
I
correct.
have the
inverted, buddy.
unique experience of being the baby, but also the middle child at the same time.
All right.
So
We are 3.5 minutes in and we are off the rails.
yeah, this is
We
just
can
like,
already see how this episode's gonna go.
guys, welcome to the
Let's rein her
show.
back in.
All right, so let's start with Vegas. Where we want to start?
With our guy Rajah Caruth getting his first series win, becoming the third African American win in NASCAR's top 3 national series. Himself, Bubba Wallace, and Bill Scott.
Yeah, and actually, it was a anniversary of Wendell Scott this weekend. If you didn't see on the infield paint, they actually had, I think it was I don't remember the year on it, but they had a tribute to him on the infield as well at Vegas this weekend.
No, I didn't even notice that.
So,
Mm-mm.
yeah, congratulations to Rajah. Honestly, so he's got that Hendrick sponsor for the season. With
Yeah, it was a good weekend to have HendrickCars.com on your vehicle.
100%.
Yes.
So they should have put one in the Xfinity race. They probably had a clean sweep with the 17. But Rajah, I mean,
With a 10.
well ran race. I mean, very solid in how he ran it. If you listen to him on Door Bumper Clear, he talked about how he went from he wouldn't just like try to hold somebody off just to hold him off. He'd let him pass so that he could learn. And that's what he was all about this past weekend, was learning and growing and getting in the groove, figuring out what was going on. And I mean, just well done, Rajah, in that regard. I mean, you can't knock him for that. Well done, and just understanding what you can do and what you cannot do, adjusting accordingly, and then being rewarded at the end for racing respectfully as well as very methodically throughout his entire race at Las Vegas. I mean, he ran top 5, top 10 all night. Qualified on the pole. We can't discount that. He qualified on the pole and then comes back and wins the race.
That's now he's in the playoffs, and if he makes it to the round of 8 in the playoffs, and he's able to win there at Las Vegas, that's boom, like in the championship four automatically. So he's proved he can do it there. Now you just got to see how he can do elsewhere. Can it be continued success, or is this just a one-time thing? Which I think it's going to be continued success, because every podcast that you listen to about NASCAR, they talk about how Rajah Caruth is one of the hardest working guys in all of NASCAR.
Right.
Spotter standard, he doesn't have to be. He's in the garage when he doesn't have to be asking questions. Just trying to learn everything he can.
Yeah, very, very. He's like a sponge, very absorbent of everything going on, of people around and all around. So, well done for Rajah. I mean, we didn't really talk about it, but a lot of other podcasts touched on him and Bubba back at Daytona. And Bubba's been kind of a mentor to him coming up in the series now and into one of NASCAR's top 3 national series. So seeing that hard work come to fruition, I know is rewarding, but seeing that Rajah can do it and do it in a really just fantastic way is also just great on him.
It's very rewarding when you invest in someone and you see them start to succeed.
Yeah. Oh,
Do
100%.
y'all think he got out of his homework?
So,
I would hope so.
That was the only thing I could think of the entire time y'all were talking. I'm so sorry.
That was one of his comments in the post race. So yeah, hopefully that teacher let him slide that time around.
He was like, I hope I have no homework tonight.
So, well, talking about truck races, I mean, thoughts in general comparatively to the first 2 races of the season, guys.
We finally got a clean race.
yeah, well, it helps when
Mhm.
they're a little bit more spread out and not on top of each other.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely.
People's in the truck series, that's when their talent start to shine top of each other, like in every other lap.
mhm. Yeah, you get a
Mhm.
good spread and can see what they actually have and what they can do. The cream really rises to the top. So, but very nice to see a clean race. And I think only 2 or 3 cautions for calls throughout the entire race. Other than 5 total cautions for the race, and they were single truck incidents. So very clean weekend. In
I'm
all
gonna say
reality.
over all 3. I mean, Xfinity had a clean race as well. John Hunter Nemechek took home that win as well.
So Chandler Smith came this close 2 years in a row.
This
Mhm.
close.
Almost ran him down, but just not quite. You just didn't have it there at the end. So, which means that's the same story for Tyler Reddick Sunday. So another Toyota coming just a hair short on
Well,
the
that's what
at Vegas.
I thought when Bubba obviously had the lug nut issue, and he was 13 laps down, and he came out on way fresher tires than everybody, and he got behind Reddick, and they started shaking bacon. I was like, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
he's gonna make this happen.
I thought it was
That
gonna
was
be over
really
then.
enjoyable to watch too.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So you'd
And
watch Bubba
obviously, it
build
all it
momentum
all
and
fell
push him out.
apart. It all fell apart once Bubba and Reddick got on equal tires,
Mm-hmm.
and Bubba wasn't able to stay with Reddick. But up until that point, I was like, golly, because Reddick was like almost 4 seconds back. And the next thing you know, he's half a second back. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, this is crazy. I was like, we're watching Las Vegas Nights right now.
Las Vegas.
Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake. Slingshot. Slingshot. So
Before you bake it.
From the live stream, we have Dan Harper who was like, nice of Riley Green to stop by the show tonight.
My wife wishes.
So
You
what
wishes. I think she shares Riley Green's post on Instagram more than she shares mine.
I'm not going to confirm or deny my thoughts on that one.
So, well, I
I'm a
mean,
little
it's
bit more handsome than
wish.com,
he
man.
is.
Wish.com.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Riley Green's the Wish
Wish.com.
version of me.
I see it. Oh, you broke out the Stanley
At least
tonight
that's what
too.
I like to tell myself. Oh yeah, I'm in my basic white girl era.
So, well, the cup race.
I mean, it was kind of a snoozer until about the third stage when there was
Mm,
people that were going to be on that two-stop strategy and the one-stop strategy, because that's what really buried McDowell. Is I think he was one of there's only like him and just a few other guys that were like, we're going to try and do this on one stop, and it was like right after they pitted is when the caution came out, and I was like, dang, well that just kind of ruined everything, because now they're at the letdown, they got to take the wave around, and everybody else is about to come down from tires, and ruins the whole strategy aspect of this race, because that's normally what really makes Las Vegas interesting is who's going to gamble, what's going to pay off, and
Yeah,
that's
what
so fitting,
gamble?
yeah,
Oh, very fitting for
and
Vegas.
and they went all in, and turns out they just had a high card of a 7.
And unfortunately, that was
mhm.
not enough to win the hand. So,
And then Reddick, man, he almost got there by himself at the end too. That's what people were
yeah,
saying. Well, he should have took the top, and it's like, well, Larson knew he was going to take the top, so he thought he could take the bottom. It just didn't pan out how he wanted it to. But those cars are so aero sensitive. I mean,
yeah,
I'm look at Blaney and Chastain last year at Phoenix. Blaney was trying his darndest to get around Chastain, flipping him
and
the
just couldn't
bird,
do it.
getting right up on his bumper, and he just couldn't get past him because he was aero blocking the crap out of him.
Yeah, and I
So
mean, talking
now,
about the arrow
if he would
there.
have had Bubba Wallace's help, that's what,
Mhm.
because right there at the end, Bubba Wallace was kind of slow trying to get them to come right to him to where he could start pushing him again.
Right.
I was like,
Mhm.
oh, they're about to make this happen, but he just didn't have enough momentum to get caught back up
Yeah, I
to
think
it.
there
It's
was
not
like
like Reddick was going to be
15
like,
to go when they got to
yeah, and it's
Bubba.
not like at that
Mhm.
point Reddick is like, I can't lift to get back to him because what if it doesn't work, and then I'm SOL,
Mhm.
So he's like, I just got to go.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, speaking of
Well,
the arrow when it comes to that too, real quick. I mean, you gotta take into account the weather and the winds this weekend. I mean,
Dude,
some
that's what
high
I think.
gusts
What
all weekend.
Saturday, it was so windy that they couldn't have people
on
up
the roof.
yeah, they couldn't
Hmm.
have their cameramans up top, and then Sunday they had to be tethered off to make sure they didn't blow away. That's some insane winds.
Yeah. So, I mean, aero sensitive, that crosswind or wherever the wind may be coming in at that time definitely makes a big impact on these cars and the downforce because I mean they're all aero sensitive, like you just stated. So having to just make sure that I mean they talk about there was times where it looked like Tyler got arrow tight there at the end, but I mean
Yeah,
we're not sure watching from TV if that may have just been a gust that he was just got the unlucky draw of at
yeah,
what
and
time it
that's
may
what I
have
can't
been.
imagine going 180 miles an hour in a turn with a 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts. Because I know sometimes just going down the interstate when my wife had a car, that's what I'd be driving it, and a wind would hit the side of it, and I'm going 80, and the next thing I know, it's pushing me in another lane. So I couldn't imagine the amount of downforce that those. I'd I'd really like to get behind the wheel of a race car just so I know. But right
Right.
now I can't imagine what that actually feels like to not be completely just getting spun out by air of a wind gust,
Yeah.
because air, that's what spun Corey LaJoy out is just air of when Brad Keselowski got up to his bumper the way it pushed it, the way
Mhm.
the bubble of air behind him pushed him, just sent him spinning. He didn't even touch him. It was just that air compacting right behind him, and there he goes.
See you bye.
Mhm.
So, well, talking about the gusty winds, do we want to talk about old
Byron?
Byron's poor day?
I'm gonna
Yeah, he
say,
got a pretty interesting
bad
penalty
luck,
during the
man.
race.
What do you have? He had a trash bag
A
at one
55
point.
gallon trash bag on the hood
There
of
you
his
go,
car.
guys. We got it on
And
the
if you
screen.
look real close, you can see the indentation of the silver bullet in the trash. Colorado Kool-Aid, if you will.
The
I was about to
Colorado
say, let me
Kool-Aid
lean
that
in
found
right
its way
here.
into the air filter, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I
Probably
mean,
helped him for about a lap and a half.
yeah, that talk
And then
about
his temperature gauge started going boom, right up
yeah,
to the
temperature
top.
gauge going through the roof on that one. So, but yeah, I mean, just an unfortunate turn of events for Byron right there with that trash bag. Um, really killed what probably was Kyle Larson's thickest competition of the day next to Reddick.
Mhm.
Well,
So,
and Kyle Busch was there too, so he got that penalty on pit road. He's 3 for 3. Every race this year, he's gotten the pit road penalty.
cannot find the
Right.
groove on pit road.
Well, also 2311 is having pit road troubles as well.
Yeah, that plague is following them into this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Same thing as last year.
continually.
Yeah. Which
So,
Bubba's deal with them putting too much ugga dugga on his lug nut, just that half a second extra, ruined
giving
his
it a
day,
little burp burp double
which is
touch.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and the other thing is we gotta keep in mind too, the pit crews are getting faster. And what I mean by
Mhm.
that, just looking at the averages from
That's what Denny Hamlin
best
had the
individuals,
fastest stop of an 8.8, wasn't it?
8.88, followed by Bell with an 8.89, and then the next card was the 14 of Chase Briscoe with an 8.99, followed by the
You can't
Hendrick
even tie my
48 of a
shoes that
9
fast.
even. Dude, I would be
You know what I
huffing and
mean?
puffing just reaching down that fast. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I got. I got a little bit too much love going on right here. I got my winter coat on. I
Yeah, I
can't
gotta
bend
like
over
pick
that
up and
fast to
then
tie
bend
my
over,
shoes.
you know? So you come back up and my whole face is red.
Yeah, I ain't seen my toes in months.
Yeah, dude, I don't, my reaction time isn't even 8.88 seconds.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, the pit stops are getting exponentially faster each weekend, and it's really the teams that are lagging behind in that aspect are really starting to show because you're seeing the positions lost. Kyle Larson had one of the top pit crews last year, and this weekend he was ranked, let's see here, 7th on the list with a 9.09. So almost 2/10 slower than Denny Hamlin pit stop, the top time. And 2/10 on a racetrack we saw Sunday is about 12 car lengths.
Hmm. Well, and
So
what's really saved Larson is his pit stall. Having that first one,
yeah, having
easy entry, easy exit.
Mhm.
well, he was up in the
He was
front. I don't
always
think he
at
had
the
the
front.
first.
Yeah, well, that's what I think they take the first one off for like. I know NBC gets the first booth. I don't know if they do that for Fox or the first pit stall. I don't know if they do that for Fox.
So, but yeah, a lot of not as much
A
pit
lot of
road trouble
pit
as we saw
road.
last weekend, but still a good bit.
I mean, going off of pit road, you had what happened to Busher as well.
Yeah,
Oh
that was
yes,
weird because normally a loose wheel shows up a lot sooner than 10 laps, because that's what
10 laps into the run.
they
Yeah,
were pretty, yeah, they were
Hmm.
pretty far into the run. And then all of a sudden he's losing a wheel. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. I
yeah.
guess
Let's
they had it just
I
tight
gotta get the
enough
right pitch
to
unit up.
last.
Yeah, if you look at that
You
bottom
can
photo,
literally
you can see the
see.
lug. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Emily. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
No, you're good.
But you see
Yeah,
the
that's
lug.
a good bit of damage right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's once it plowed up into the wall. But the wheel, you can't see it in this photo, but
Yeah,
the
he
wheel
literally
itself is
tore the wall
sheared.
down.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't a rock concert, so we don't really want to do that. But way to go, Busher.
Yeah, that's what when they brought the red flag out, I was like, what's going on? And then they're like, yeah, we're gonna go to commercial. They got to get the welder up there and weld the wall back together. And I was like, Jesus, it didn't look like he hit that hard.
No,
Apparently
I
he
didn't
did.
think he hit that hard.
Yeah, now we got what do we have now? A 2 week vacation for a crew member and the crew chief. Looks like.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So congratulations to them on winning the grand prize trip of a 2 week vacation.
I don't feel like
But
that's a grand prize.
yeah, we were actually when we were watching this happen, I saw the wheel go off. I saw Busher go up when they showed it, and I was like, "That's a lug. That's a lug all day." And as soon as they showed the replay, and you see in that bottom photo the lug at the top right or top left, and the wheel right behind it, that's what happens when you can't get those pins seated. So there's 18 holes for pins and 6 pins on the back of the wheel. And what you have to do is when they're putting the single lug on, because it is just a single lug and say your normal 5 lug nuts or 6 depending on your vehicle, you got to sit those 6 pins in one of the 18 holes or 6 of the 18 holes that are on the back of the wheel. So when it's not set just right, the locking pins, it like pops up behind the lug when it tightens. That locking pin will be down, but if they don't catch it in time, it's a loose.
Yeah.
It's gonna come loose no matter what at that point if it's not locked in place because that is the mechanism that keeps it all together. And what happens for the wheel to shear off like it did, and shear the inside part of the wheel off and the inside bead, is when when the lug comes off, the load drops and the suspension will drop onto the top part of that wheel from the top part of the toe link or the what is it, the arm? I can't think of the name of it, but basically drops down and just creates a nice little metal cutter for the front wheel that's then goes on its own little vacation on its own, followed by the crew chief and a crew member. So, but there's a over-explained version of what happened to Busher this weekend, and on top of finishing dead last, he's now lost his crew chief for 2 weeks. So, not a good time.
Well, I'll tell you who did have a good time. Noah Gregson.
Yes.
Finally, he's no longer negative in the points.
You know, I don't want to
No.
rain on your parade, but he didn't even net what he lost in the penalty.
Yeah, I think he was like 6 points short because
Uh,
that's what he
Four,
lost.
it looks like.
He lost 35 and he gained 32 or something.
He
30.
gained
yeah.
31. So he
Yeah.
is -4? Yes.
Well, I mean that shows at several points during the race. Chase Briscoe was up in the top 10, and Josh Berry was up in the top 15, and then obviously Noah Gregson finished sixth. Now Briscoe and Berry's results didn't show that. I don't. And then I think Priest wrecked in practice or in qualifying or something. It was in a backup car and never really recovered any track position or anything.
Mm-mm.
But
Yeah, he
I
wrecked in
mean, the other
qualifying
three guys,
or practice.
their results don't really show where they were running. But and I mean, Noah's doesn't either. He wasn't running that great until the end, and then all of a sudden he was there in the top 10, and which they're showing. It's 1 week of them showing some promise, but I mean, I think that's them pointing themselves in the right direction. That's something for them to build off of.
Yeah, will it trend?
Yeah.
Will it trend?
That's easy the question.
So,
Anybody else got anything on Viva
The
Las Vegas?
ratings. The ratings for this past weekend. I know
oh
Alan has
yes,
the actual numbers
yes. So I
for
have the
that.
numbers. So to preface, since the start of, I had to pull up a picture. Since the start of the 2024 season, obviously the Daytona 500 a rain delay. Atlanta, we saw a positive increase. Everybody said that Vegas is going to be the true testament of what NASCAR full speed did and how NASCAR is doing as a sport, and that we had to see a ratings jump or we have a bigger problem. And you know what we saw at Vegas?
Ratings
A
jump.
9% increase in ratings. So broken down,
That doesn't sound like a lot until you realize that that's billions of people watching.
4.359 million viewers for Sunday's Las Vegas race on average, up 9% from last spring's Las Vegas, which was at 3.99. It was the most watched sporting event of the weekend. The race peaked with 5.2 million viewers from 6:45 to 7 p.m. Eastern, which would have been the end of the race. So a very, very, very big increase and what we were looking to see, especially when the highest ratings were right there when you saw the battle at the end of the race between Reddick and Larson forming. So it also created a really good dynamic in the race. So I think Clint Boyer said, who says we can't have a finish like Atlanta at Vegas?" As they started, as
I mean,
Reddick was gaining.
It was getting there to where they were going to get something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was 2 laps to go is when Reddick finally lost it and dropped back to like half a second back, and that was about it. They didn't have a chance to form another run, but watching him run him down was really, really super entertaining. So, especially for me wanting her to not get 2 points down below for the picks.
Oh gosh, that's what. As soon as Kyle Busch got that penalty, I was like, of course.
Yeah, you burned a really good pick for no results this past weekend with Kyle Busch as your pick. Unfortunately.
You stole my original idea, which wasn't any better.
Yeah, I think I finished 18th. So
Let's see. I forget, where did you finish?
let's
Me?
see. Let's see.
That'd have
I
been
finished
on that pick sheet
18th,
if you stroll over. I finished 23rd,
23rd.
and Emily's person
Mhm.
finished
No. Priest finished 23rd. You finished 26th.
26th.
Wow,
Mhm.
just made it way to make it better.
I'm so sorry.
I think you finished
Pick me
below
while I'm down.
every SHR car. You'd had a better pick with Noah Gragson. Hey, keep that in mind for the fall. So, but yeah, no, the end of the race, the viewings definitely show. Now we'll have to see if that translates to Phoenix. But seeing that it translated to Las Vegas is just very indicative of what the sport's done to improve the racing as well as promote the racing when it comes to the Netflix documentary as well as the promotions that they're putting out on Fox. I mean, I remember watching the Super Bowl back in early February and there was a Daytona 500 promo during the Super Bowl. So, and then unfortunately with the rain being rained out on Sunday, we still saw a good viewership for Monday, but then Atlanta upper viewership, and again Las Vegas with a 9% increase. Big. I mean, that's
Yeah, I
really
think
big
it
for the
helps with the
sport.
time slot they're able to put it in on Monday too. Because if they would have ran that race at like 11 on Monday or something,
They
or
didn't.
when
They
it
wouldn't have
has
seen
the
anything.
earliest, yeah, they wouldn't have. Yeah, it would
Mm-mm.
have been crap. Being that race ended at night on Monday, I think that helped out a lot with ratings.
Right.
It definitely did.
So, well, where are we heading to?
Phoenix, Arizona.
What?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, I was saying that I didn't hear what you
Phoenix,
said.
Arizona. Don't forget Winona, Kingston,
I was gonna say we are
Boston,
heading to
San
Phoenix.
Bernardino.
Oh my gosh.
Route 66.
It was vibing. I was like, keep going. Yeah.
All right. Sorry. I will back off.
I feel like we're disorganized tonight.
We are. It's not as unhinged as we have been.
Yeah, wait till Friday. Keep an eye
Yeah,
on the
when we
YouTube
drop
page
our
on
I was
Friday
Friday.
and
about to
go.
say.
When we drop Splash and Go on Friday, that's a little unhinged.
That one
But you guys are
definitely
gonna
fell
get
off
it.
the rails.
So
Yep.
you will get it. So that
So
that was off
excited
the
for
rails
that one to
before it
drop.
began. I mean, before it began, it was off the rails.
Yeah, I was going to say we were like, oh, let's start at like 9:30, and then we didn't start recording until 10:30 because we spent an hour just way off in left field.
Way
So,
off in
But
La La
anyways,
Land.
reeling her back in Phoenix. This is the first chance that we get to see the new short track package that they're bringing in.
Hmm.
So,
do you think
Alan,
that
you got
this is
some
going to be?
info on that?
I have the same info from the earlier episode. Obviously, it's a simplified diffuser, creates less downforce, less drag. Hopefully, the car is more unstable, a little more slip and slide is the goal to have the driver drive the car more to hopefully create better racing on the short tracks. With that said, because we can't just immediately up horsepower or anything along those lines, I am praying that this is not another band-aid on a bullet hole situation.
Let's call
So,
together.
because I mean, this is the best comparison I have. NASCAR wants this, which is like an actual like badge, but we get a sticker. I mean,
I love that analogy.
that's what it's been. I mean, every time that they're like, we're gonna make an aero change, we get a sticker. We get another sticker. We get another sticker. But we
I know
need
they
the
really need
actual
to do something
product.
about it
And
because
I'm
I
hoping,
really like my short track cars like I like my women. Really unstable.
in all
I'm
aspects
glad
of
my
that
wife
boy.
isn't watching tonight.
No one tell his wife.
Yeah. But yeah, again, I'm optimistic. I've been optimistic the entire time that we're going to see an improvement with the car. But I don't want to give up hope, but I also don't want to put all my eggs in this basket again because we saw this last
Yeah.
year. They're going to fix the tire. They're going to bring a softer tire. They didn't bring a softer tire because I feel like there's also Goodyear still scared from Texas 22,
Mhm.
where you had like
Well, I
4
mean, the
million
drivers have
blowouts.
said that they're not gonna. The drivers have said they're not gonna hold Goodyear to it. They said bring something different, and if it fails, we'll support you. You know.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Like
they're still. I mean, they're still a little skittish to bring something super crazy. But
well,
I
here's the
mean,
whole thing.
you
Like,
got to think that's the only reason that Texas race was entertaining is because people kept blowing tires.
I mean, when you
So
start the run with 12 psi in the tire, you're gonna blow it. I mean, it's gonna
mhm.
happen. The tire it can't withstand it. It's not enough. And these teams are testing the air pressure limits. So hey, Goodyear bring a tire, get with NASCAR, minimum air pressure requirements, and call it a day with a good wear tire that can wear that's not a hard compacted rubber like they've had. I know that's what they were trying at New Hampshire last year. We saw some improvements in the later half of the season, but there's no. Also, just as another note, Phoenix is not the best test for this. Phoenix is a unicorn all on its own, but it's like a
That's what I said.
unicorn
You know, they
that's
call
a
it a short
donkey.
track, but it's a whatever you want to call it. You know, that's
Yeah.
Phoenix. I don't Phoenix hitting a short track.
You and your
Phoenix
analogies
is
tonight.
Phoenix is a donkey with a horn. Like it's like the unicorn that you see at the Backwoods State Fair that's actually just Mike's garage. So I I think it's not knocking it for the venue. It's a gorgeous venue. Being out there,
Well, yeah, don't.
beautiful.
We had a lot of fun there, and if
We
anybody wants to send us there for free again, we will go.
100% we will go. So
Yeah,
or for
I
a
am
very
included this
reduced price.
time.
Yes, we need 3 to 4 to 6 tickets. But
we're gonna need a lot.
no, I mean Phoenix is a gorgeous venue, but like the product that it puts out is it's it can't they classify it as a short track. It's not a short track. I mean, you're running 150, 16, not 160, but like 145 to 150 on the straights. Most short tracks we're not getting over 120. So it's not really
You
actually a
hadn't
short
seen me
track.
at Bristol, buddy.
I mean, that's like your NASCAR Heat mod package. So
I used the
speaking of racing,
regular setup.
speaking of racing, that's what this podcast is about. But we have a fantasy league, you guys. I don't know if anybody knows
No,
that,
what's the
but nobody's joining it. No, we actually did have joining. We got guys built up. Again, have a point system in there. You pick your drivers every week through the NASCAR app. If you join in, we have prizes at the end of the year that you guys will help us pick after the regular season ends. So that will be a choice on the polling on the Spotify at the end of the season. So keep an eye out for that. Join the fantasy league if you have not yet.
We currently have 6 people in there, and I'm doing way better in there. I'm actually winning in that.
Maybe you should take your picks from that.
Put my picks in there.
I was gonna say I put my picks in there.
I put our picks in there. I use everybody's, and it's not
Really?
panning out right now. Yeah.
No.
Well, I feel like
So
we
we're
do
not
some
doing
pretty
good
good
together,
research,
but
and then we just
individually.
we individually just have like something catastrophic. Like I almost picked William Byron this past weekend, and he found a trash bag with a silver bullet and put the silver bullet in the air filter. So, I mean, but no,
At one
check it
point,
out.
we had to pause the race because we had to go run an errand. And I don't know who texted him, but I saw him on his fantasy league and I was like, get off. And he was like, I have to switch out Byron.
It was me. I texted him and said, "Hey, you need to switch Byron for Ullman."
Yeah, Daniel with the
And
save there. That
well, I don't think that panned out that well, did it? Because
no,
Byron
Byron
ended up
finished like
finishing ahead of
14th.
Bowman. Yeah.
So yeah, Byron finished 10th. So appreciate it.
With
I
the
won't
trash
listen to you
bag
again.
and silver bullet.
Daniel is the
Well, I
trash
mean,
bag.
he
You
was
were
a
the
lap
trash bag.
down. Hey, he was a lap down, and he's about to lose it for you, buddy.
So,
That's what
but no,
I was torn because I had Kyle Busch in my garage, and I was like, all right, I need to switch him out for either Bubba Wallace because he was running the worst at that time. William Byron. I was like, well, William Byron's kind of on the comeback. And then I made that change, and right after I made that change is when Bubba Wallace had to cut his lug nut off, and I was like,
yeah, make the change. So, um, well, let's see. But yeah, Phoenix coming up this weekend. Hey, who knows? The short track package could make it the best race in Phoenix history. We'll keep our eyes on Jeff Gluck's poll.
you
What
know, I
was
was
his
about to
polling
say
for Vegas,
last
by
year,
the way?
man, I think it was like 73.8% or something.
So people liked Vegas. I think you said
Yeah.
it was and I agree with you, it was a very purist race on Vegas. We
Mhm.
just totally turned this train around in like 2 seconds.
No, I went from like complaining and dogging on it to turning around and being like, okay.
Well, I mean, last year, me and Alan were really, really critical of how we thought the Chicago street course was going to turn out. And then it turned out to be a really good race. So
We have to
there,
be more
we learned
open-minded.
we'll be
So,
more glass half full
Hmm.
and just hope for the best
yeah,
because the
optimism.
better the product
Optimism,
is, the better it is for everybody else, you know?
including us.
So, and I mean, it's not like the changes that they've made have made the short track racing worse. Everything they've done has made it a little bit better. And
Yeah, it's been an improvement.
they're taking steps in the right direction without doing what they know eventually they're going to have to do. They're just hoping, and if they do enough of the little things, the big thing won't matter, you know?
Yeah, which the
It's like
big
they're trying
thing
to
would
take care
be
of a
the
woman or
horsepower.
something.
Oh, Emily
Little
agreed with
thing.
that too. Wow.
Yeah. My wife may not know this, but I actually do listen to her.
We just act like we don't.
Yeah.
So, in
That way, when you do realize we're listening, you're like, oh wow, you do listen. You know,
Alan listens to me all the time.
allegedly. All right.
In
Ladies and
other
gentlemen.
news, um, there are rumors that Texas will be reconfigured into wait, I don't even know how to say
Mile
this
and a
because of how
quarter.
it's written up. I was about to say 1.25 miles
Yep.
high bank bull ring. That is a lot. Why did someone word it that way?
That's
It
that's
was, I
the
mean,
nickname is a bull ring. So Daniel Harper actually mentioned a couple weeks ago on the in the chat. By the way, guys, if you're in here,
Yes.
drop some questions below in the chat. if you have anything that you want us to talk about or any questions that you have, we're welcome to answer anything, as well as we're watching the comments as they come. So, but Daniel Harper mentioned a couple weeks ago about they're talking about reconfiguring Texas, and he had seen some rumors about that, and we had started seeing more rumors pop up that after this year's race. And this is the most recent one that seems to be gaining traction. No credibility behind this at all. So we don't have anything to say, hey, this is actually factual.
This is pure speculation.
Pure speculation. Silly season rumor, number one. First silly season rumor of the year. Texas is going to be reconfigured into a 1.25 mile high bank bull ring. So basically an oversized Bristol.
I don't know. I mean, I think the more they race on Texas, the better it'll get. I said that last week. Gotta let that track age a little bit, and let's see what it does.
How old is Texas?
It's not that old. But it's only like 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old.
2021, I think. Emily,
Yeah.
if you want to pull that, I'll just talk about it for a second. So Texas was repaved. Texas is Atlanta's twin or sister track. So, but it's obviously different environment. So it doesn't race like Atlanta did when Atlanta worn out and everything. But I'm interested to see. I think SMI or is it SMI is very worried about Texas being booted right now. So I think that's where a lot of this comes from, is the worry that Texas isn't putting on a good enough product to be able to host a Cup Series event. So I think this may be they're trying to do a quick fix. They see how Atlanta's been working, Atlanta being one of the best races to go to or watch on the NASCAR circuit right now. They want to try to recreate something close to it. And I mean, this may do it, this may not, but I kind of agree with you, Daniel. Is like let that Texas sun and heat tear up that asphalt a little bit longer and see what kind of racing we get, because 1.5 miles are the next gen's bread and butter.
Yeah, whatever direction they do end up going with Texas, whether they leave it alone or decide to reconfigure it. Dale Jr. talked on his podcast that Marcus Smith was very involved with iRacing and the reconfiguration of Atlanta to see what's going to work best. So whatever they do, with the iRacing involved in it, and it not just being kind of a whim of, hey, I think this would work. You get to put it in to this model and let the drivers race on the iRacing around the track and be like, yeah, I like this, I don't like this, and then get a better idea of what they actually want. But leave it be, just let it go for what it is. And then if they decide not to race at it, he owns North Wilkesboro, and they'll probably just put that as a points for paying race.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of different racetracks to start rotating into where it might be one of those things where we're not going to race Texas this year, but we'll go race at Chicagoland or something like that, or Kentucky.
Well, I think Chicagoland's gone, by the way.
Well,
I thought it got sold up for development land.
According to Google, Texas was repaved in 2017.
oh,
I thought it
I
was
guess it's been a
19.
little bit longer than I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was a little bit more recent than that. But
That's why y'all probably like saw my face changing, because I was like, wait, hold on.
normally we're right.
I know. I usually trust y'all. Y'all were a few
don't know
years
what to
off
do
on
when
that
I'm
one.
wrong.
Be more open-minded.
Yeah, more open-minded. Sorry, we were wrong. We apologize. We recant our statements, and we issue a formal apology on all of our social medias via this video. Sorry, Texas. Not sorry. Your racing product is not that great, other than flat tires. So
that's what they needed to
moving
do,
on.
is bring the 2022 tire, and that's the best way to fix it.
Hey,
Without
bring
spending
a
bunch of money
one-ply
reconfiguring
tire.
it.
Bring a John Wayne tire, rough, tough, and won't take shit off anything.
So, to put to bed another rumor Dale Jr. has moved on from NBC.
Going into the wild, into the Amazon. He'll be on Amazon and TNT, and there's a lot of rumors swirling around out there that the reason he was leaving NBC is because they're wanting to do remote broadcasting from Charlotte headquarters or something like that. And he went on Twitter and X or whatever you want to call it
Mm-hmm.
and said that's not the reason why I left NBC. I love NBC. That's not the case. Which I mean, he could just be putting out a fire for NBC, but
Right.
you know, Dale Jr.'s word in NASCAR is law, so I believe what he says. And
Dale Jr. is
so
NASCAR. Go ahead, Daniel.
big questions for that though. Who else do you want in the booth? Who do you want to be your play-by-play guy?
Give me Marty Smith.
He's not going to leave ESPN.
Oh, I know he's not, but like, are we talking
Man
serious?
can
Because I
dream,
don't have
Daniel.
Adam Alexander. Move him up.
He's at Fox. He's going to leave Fox. He's the play-by-play guy for the Xfinity races and the truck races. Which that's
Who's your
another thing
free
we got to
agents, by the
figure
way?
out too, because
Yeah, who is a
I
free
think
agent?
I would look at like who's the guy that used to call for NBC? Was it Alan Bestwick? Oh, yep. Daniel Harper just put in the chat. Alan Bestwick.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
that Daniel connection.
Thank you.
Yeah, so maybe Alan Bestwick is your play-by-play guy and another person in the booth. Trying to think of a relevant racer.
Edwards, if he'd come back, Kenseth.
Yeah, Carl Edwards, Matt Kenseth.
Who's somebody that would actually come back though?
Yeah, well, the other guy needs to be like a crew chief. You're not going to get a Chad Canals. It's comfortable at Hendrick. He's not going to leave Hendrick. Who's a recently retired? Who's
I don't have anybody in the pocket there.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see
I
who
think someone
they're going to
said.
bring in.
Someone said. Name. It was Martin Truex Jr.'s old crew chief. Cole Pern. Yeah, I've heard that's what it was. Someone said, or no, it wasn't Alan Bestwick. I was listening. I can't remember which podcast. They said it would be good to get Mike Bagley as the play-by-play guy, and he's the guy that does the MRN and PRN. That makes it very exciting. And NBC brings him in during the road courses. If you get Mike Bagley and then Cole Pern and Dale Jr., that'd be a good boost. And I agree with that. I can't remember which podcast I heard that on. I try and listen to all of them.
Right.
But I think that would be
well, just an overall, I think whoever they go to get is going to be a credible source, because if you want to gain credibility and you want to look like you're a part of it, you go get the best of the best. And that's what Amazon and TNT, Max, HBO, all the other commodities that come along with that went and did. They went and got Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is basically what you can consider the father of NASCAR currently. And that's immediate credibility. And from there, the fans, if you want your fan base to buy into something, which right now is having NASCAR fan base, which is a relatively older fan base, buy into streaming, you go get those credibility sources. So, Junior. So that's going to immediately sell on his own, is with that.
I got an idea for another person.
Oh, let's hear it.
Who?
Me.
Yeah, us.
NASCAR.
All three of us.
Amazon.
We have
I'm
our Jamie
available.
Little. We have our Clint Boyer. We have our Kevin Harvick. Look at that.
I'm available. I'm cheap. I'll quit my job. I'll drag up today. You know.
Somebody share this with Amazon and TNT. We are credible sources. Incredibly credible. Incredible, but not like that we're awesome. We're just not credible. You know.
Ah.
Yeah. but
on.
it works the
Quit
same,
talking,
you
you're
know.
digging us in the hole.
I love the explanation.
But yeah,
All right,
no. Well done on them getting Dale. Who replaces Dale in
Dale,
NBC
yeah.
boots?
I don't think
I
they need
don't
to replace
think
him.
I was gonna say I don't think Dale is replaceable. Like you cannot replace
They're
him.
not going to replace him, but I mean, they had Burton, Lepart, and Rick Allen
Mhm.
in there before Dale got in there. And the broadcast was good before. I think just leave those three, and you don't need a fourth person in the
No
three.
more slide job. Slide job.
Yeah, it's going to suck not hearing his point of view during the races this year, which listen to his podcast and ours.
Right.
But I don't think they need to add anybody.
Yeah. So, well, hey, if the booth can hold on, the booth can hold on. I just don't want to see what Fox did last year.
Or yeah,
The revolving
pimping
door.
out a spot.
Yeah, you never
But if
got a
they
good
do,
mesh.
once again, I'm available.
Yes, we will gladly be pimped.
Just putting that out there.
I'm gladly.
All right, let's wrap this bad boy up. Let's get to the picks.
Picks.
Emily, you get to go first.
I'm gonna be
Emily with the
honest.
win.
Completely unexpected.
Hey, let's
I
do a
mean, I
points
picked
recap
Larson,
too.
but I honestly did not think he was going to win.
So,
I
where
was
does that put you
praying
on the
on his
points?
downfall.
That puts me at 3 points to Allen's 2.
We don't have to talk about mine.
We're not. It's okay. That's
Daniel's got a
sooner or later.
donut. So, well, Emily, you get first
Looking a
pick,
little bit
first
like
dibs.
Busher this past weekend. All right, my pick, and I feel like it's a little predictable. I'm gonna pick Blaney this week.
Ryan Blaney. All right, you got any
Blaney.
reasons behind it?
Well, I trusted good old driveraverages.com because they got me that far last week.
Solid website for all of your average needs.
His average finish, and this is as of February of 21, is 4th place with 5 top 5s and 6 top 10s. So that's all I'm saying. Trust him.
All right, Alan, who are you
Take us
all
to
in
the
with?
promised land.
I'm gonna follow with last fall's winner, and that would have to be, as Daniel Harper just beat me in the chat to saying, Ross Chastain, old Mellow Man. So a solid run last spring before being taken out by Denny Hamlin with I just let go of the wheel. And then getting penalized and then revoking his statement. And then the winner in the fall race, of course, keeping Blaney at bay and winning the race. So I'm going to go Ross Chastain. Daniel?
We'll be honest, Alan told me that he was picking Chastain, and I came this close to stealing him.
You should have, just because he did that to me last week. All right,
I didn't even know
I'm
last
gonna be
week.
honest. I'm gonna level with you guys. I was gonna pick Josh Berry.
I know you
But-
put it on the sheet already.
No, I took it off. But I'm in a hole.
All
And I
right.
need a good solid pick. And I'm gonna pick a guy that's had a lot of momentum. And people have said he's gonna win this year. And this is the week that he does it. Tyrone Gibbs.
So his name really Tyrone, though?
Probably like Tyler, but Tyrone
No,
sounds
let's
cool.
see. I'm gonna actually look that up.
So Ty Gibbs. Daniel, I
Tyler.
love your enthusiasm and your really just desire to manifest. I hope it works out in your favor.
I am super, super, super competitive. And I hate the fact that I'm losing right now. It's burning me up inside. I do not like to lose. I'm super competitive. If I'm playing a game with a kid is not going to win. I'm going to beat him every.
Daniel Harper with the slammer comment. Well, Dan's staying at 0.
That's why I'm beating him in the fantasy league too.
Oh, A little call out there. Loving it,
Ew.
loving it.
Okay, no starting beef with the people in the
Yeah,
comments.
no starting beef with fans. Like, come on, we're not Brett Griffin. We're gases on the right.
Let's see. What is I have not looked at Gibbs's.
You got some stats on Gibbs there that can give us like like what he
I
does.
really don't want to burst Daniel's
Hey, you're not gonna burst
bubble.
my bubble because I don't care about anything that's happened in the past. This is his year. He's gonna have a breakout year. Starts this week at Phoenix.
Oh man,
You take that to the bank.
I'd rather not. That check's gonna
So
bounce.
his average finish at Phoenix in particular, I just had it pulled up and then I lost it. Please hold. 24.5.
He did win the Xfinity Championship by dominating the race there. So
And we're talking Cup Series.
hey,
Hey, you got a call
Hi.
out by the way, Daniel. Um, Daniel Harper said settle
we'll
that on Heat
settle that.
5.
Ooh.
We'll see how he does without my setup that I gave him. I remember spanking his tail, and then then I gave him his setup, and now he's good. Or I gave him my setup, and now he's good.
So, well,
Catch me
Daniel,
on Bristol, no custom setups. I'll
I
beat
will pass you
everybody.
on Bristol. No, you will beat me. It's okay.
Yeah.
So,
So we raced Bristol one time, didn't we?
yeah, we raced Bristol one time, and
How many times did I lap you?
you only lapped me once, but I was able to run you down once as well. So, but well, guys, I think we have reached our capacity for the night. So everything
Sorry, I'm
covered
looking
that we
up
want to cover.
Ty Gibbs stats.
Oh, Emily is
Oh.
just like digging your hole over there.
I'm not saying it, therefore I'm not digging any hole.
There's nothing she can say that's going to rain on my parade. I'm sticking to it. I got that gut feeling
I believe
that
in
he's
you, Daniel.
probably going to wreck since I picked
I will say at Atlanta, I was rooting for you. Once Zane Smith was out, I was like, okay.
Dude, I thought you had me at Atlanta too, and then all of a sudden Chase Briscoe's just like in the wall. So then it's like, hey, and then Kyle Busch goes down in like stage 1, and it's just it's
stage 2.
stage 2, man. But also like the spring race is the Hendrick show. Las Vegas is the Hendrick show right now. They've won every
Trying
race
to
in the
be
past year
different.
and a half. So
They've won the last 4 spring races too.
yeah, the last different winner at Vegas was Logano in 22. There was not a Hendrick driver named Kyle Larson or William Byron. So,
Got it going
but
on over there.
yep, 5-car flush. Well,
I
guys,
didn't expect it. I'm gonna be honest.
without further ado, we will see you next week.